evening. You're watching the weekend edition of Brass Tacks. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. We're beginning this edition with some breaking developments coming in. The Samyukt Kisan Morcha has written a letter to the Prime Minister citing 6 demands, which includes legalizing MSP, cases that were filed against farmers to be withdrawn, MOS home Ajay Kumar be sacked and arrested over the Lakhimpur violence, compensation be given to families of farmers who lost their lives during protests, and remove punishment on stubble burning and withdrawal of the Electricity Amendment Act bill. Let me go straight to my colleague Rupashri, who's joining us. Rupashri, if one thought that with the withdrawal of the bills coming in from the Prime Minister himself, we would see some sort of calming of situation, but that really hasn't happened. The farmers are still very adamant with their demands.
Well, absolutely, Ridhima. In fact, if anything, if anybody thought that it would lead to some thaw between the government and the farmers, but it clearly has not happened. What you're seeing essentially is the farmer unions essentially hardening their stand. And if you read the letter very closely, notice what has been written on the first paragraph. They have said that to the Prime Minister that you chose to unilaterally announce that the ordinances or the controversial farm laws will be withdrawn. So clearly some unhappiness being expressed over there that the Prime Minister did not take the farmer unions into account or discuss with them before announcing that decision, and he chose to do so unilaterally. However, they've gone on to say that in spite of that, they have welcomed the move and have reiterated their demands that were already part of the protest. So if you thought that it was going to be a give and take process, which usually happens during negotiations, any kind of negotiations, that clearly is not happening. And because elections are just down the corner, and because the farmer unions feel that they can inflict some political damage on the prospects of the ruling party, that is the BJP, they have essentially also hardened their stand.
Okay.
But the first three demands, if you notice, they are the same demands.
Yeah.
In fact, a law on the MSP, Electricity Amendment Ordinance, to be withdrawn, the removal of anti-farmer clauses from the Air Ordinance Act, and so on and so forth. But new demands have also come in. And the new demands essentially are withdrawal of all the cases that have been listed against farmers in all these various states, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, and so on and so forth. They have also demanded action, stern action against Ajay Mishra Teni. They have demanded that he be removed. And they also want compensation and compensation also for the families of those farmers who have lost their lives in the protest. And according to the Samyukt Kisan Morcha, more than 700 farmers have lost their lives.
So despite the centre's outreach, you have the farmers still strengthening their position and still putting forward these demands in that open letter that has been written to the Prime Minister. Rupashri, thanks for getting us those details. Let's also now listen into this conversation that our Uttar Pradesh Bureau Chief Pranshu had with Rakesh Tikait.
Ahead of UP elections, the farmers' agitation is now in the state capital of Lucknow, and Rakesh Tikait, who has become the prominent face of this farmers' movement, has already reached Lucknow. राकेश जी, आज सुबह दिल्ली में आप लोगों के एसकेएम ने जो महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय लिए, उसके बाद आंदोलन तो आपका भी जारी है. लखनऊ में आप आ गए हैं, उत्तर प्रदेश में चुनाव बहुत करीब हैं. किस तरीके का हस्तक्षेप चुनाव में होगा, क्योंकि लोग ये मान के चल रहे हैं कि यहाँ तक आप आंदोलन को लेकर के आए तो शायद ये आगे चल के एक चुनावी रूप भी लेगा.
देखो, अभी चुनाव का तो अभी नहीं है, ना भी चुनाव की कोई ये पंचायत हमारी है. हमारा तो सरकार से है कि आप काम करो हमारे. हम 1 साल से बैठे हुए हैं. चुनाव तो जब भी दिखता होगा ना कि चुनाव भी आएगा, और जो किसान यहाँ पे बैठा हुआ है दिल्ली में, 1 साल तक कोई आंदोलन चलता है क्या? इन्हें चुनाव से जितना प्यार है, हमको इतना ही किसान से प्यार है. दोनों को ठीक है. इनको चुनाव प्यारा है, हमको किसान प्यारा है. ये किसान की बात करेंगे, हम चुनाव का इशू को ढील दे देंगे. ये किसान की बात नहीं करेंगे, हम चुनाव की चूड़ियाँ चढ़ाएंगे.
तो ये आपको लगता है कि जो अचानक प्रधानमंत्री आए और उन्होंने कहा कि हम बिल तीनों वापस ले लेंगे, पार्लियामेंट में से भी हम उसको रिपील भी करा देंगे, ये चुनावी मजबूरी की वजह से है?
हमने ये कहा कि 1 साल से आंदोलन किसान चल रहा था, आंदोलनरत किसान वहाँ पे था. उन बिल वापसी के लिए तो किसान बैठा हुआ था वहाँ पे, उन्होंने उसको वापसी करने की बात करी 1 साल में। अभी तो जो हमारे और इशू हैं, ये तो वो इशू हैं जो लेटेस्ट ये लेकर आना चाह रहे थे, उसको वापसी करा। और जो अभी पुराने थे, फसलों के रेट का सवाल है, एमएसपी का सवाल है, महंगाई का सवाल है, जो गरीब लोगों के ऊपर मार पड़ रही है उसका सवाल है, जो नए हो रही है कानून लेकर आना चाहते हैं, वो लेकर आना चाहते हैं बिल, उनका सवाल है। तो अभी तो वो सवाल है, उस पर तो बातचीत बाकी है अभी। भाई ये कानून आने से ही एकदम से पूरा मामला खत्म नहीं हो जाएगा इमरा वापसी के लिए। जो पहले इशू चल रहे हैं उस पर तो बातचीत तो करेंगे।
Okay, shifting focus to some other stories that we're tracking, and fresh clashes have erupted between the TMC and the BJP earlier today in the poll-bound state of Tripura. TMC leaders alleged that goons who are working on the orders of the Chief Minister, Biplab Dev, attacked party workers while the police stood there and did nothing. Now, TMC Youth President Shaini Ghosh was arrested by the Tripura police and be charged under attempt to murder. Meanwhile, TMC's Abhishek Banerjee, who was denied landing permission in Agartala earlier today, will arrive in the state tomorrow morning. A delegation of more than 15 TMC MPs are also on their way to the national capital to seek a meeting with the Home Minister over this violence. They will also sit on a dharna.
इसके खिलाफ कंप्लेंट आया था, तो इसके खिलाफ जो प्रिलिमिनरी हम लोग इंट्रागेशन के लिए हम लोग बुलाया है। तो काफ़ी जो बाकी लोगों को जो विटनेसेस को स्टेटमेंट लेने के बाद ये पता चला कि इसके खिलाफ जो केस हुआ है 153, 153 ये और 307, 120B में ये थोड़ा एविडेंस इसको मिला हुआ है, तो इसीलिए हम लोग इसको एलिगेशंस इज दैट कि शी इज ट्राइंग टू प्रमोट एनिमिटी बिटवीन पीपल। तो 153 है तो आप जानते ही हो, तो ये प्रमोटिंग एनिमिटी बिटवीन ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल। और इसको अटेम्प्ट टू मर्डर के लिए वो 307 के लिए भी एविडेंस उसमें प्रिलिमिनरी एविडेंस मिला हुआ है।
কালকে রাত্রিরে আমাদের হোটেলে এসেছিল গাড়ি সিজ করার জন্য, আমরা জানি না কেন। আমরা বলছি আমরা রাত্রে নিচে নেমে আসবো না, শি ইজ আ ওম্যান, আই এম আ ওম্যান। হোটেলকে আমরা বলে দিয়েছি, নিচে পুলিশকে বলে দিয়ে আমরা নিচে নেমে আসবো না। তখন পুলিশ চলে যায়। আজকে আবার 11টা সাড়ে 11টার সময় পুলিশ এসে শাইনি ঘোষকে বলে নিচে আসতে। কেন কোনো কারণ জানানো হয়নি, কোনো কাগজ দেওয়া হয়নি, কোনো নোটিশ নেই, কিছু নেই। জাস্ট আপনি আসেন, কিছু কোয়েশ্চেনিং করা হয়েছে। তো আমরা এখন থানায় এসেছি, এক্স্যাক্টলি কী হয়েছে আমরা বলতে পারবো না।
Now we're understanding that the TMC is all set to move the Supreme Court, and this is over the situation in Tripura. As we were pointing out, there'll also be a delegation as far as the TMC is concerned moving to the national capital, and they will be sitting on dharna as well. Kamalika is getting us all these details. Kamalika, first let's talk about the developments that are just coming in, that the TMC is all set to move the Supreme Court. We're understanding a delegation will also be coming to the national capital and they'll be sitting on dharna as well.
Yeah, actually the thing is that, in this, during the election, it should be free and fair and it should be peaceful and opposition and everybody should get proper security. There was a court order on this. So Trinamool Congress, they feel that this is a contempt of court by which there has been widespread violence and there has been intimidation by the ruling party. And that is why, because it's a contempt of court, the direction which was given by court, that is not being followed. So Trinamool Congress tomorrow, what we are getting from our sources, they are going to move Supreme Court that even after court's direction, that thing was not, exercised by the administration, by the Election Commission, by the administration there in Tripura. And the ruling party, they are threatening, intimidating, and they are attacking Trinamool Congress. That's their logic. On the other hand, obviously, a 15-member team, they'll be heading to... Remember, tomorrow, Mamata Banerjee is also expected to reach, in the evening, she is expected to reach in Delhi. So there also, one section of MPs, they'll try to Home Minister. Mamata Banerjee is due to meet Prime Minister in this week.
Okay.
But Tripura, obviously, now the present Kurukshetra of BJP Trinamool standoff, and things there are really bad. It's tense. The situation is tense. Tomorrow morning around 10 a.m., Abhishek Banerjee, National General Secretary, he's in Tripura and do rally.
Okay.
And also, what we are getting it from our sources, Council of Ministers from Bengal will also be heading towards
Tripura tomorrow.
Kamalika, I want to talk to you specifically about the arrest of Shaini Ghosh. Now, the allegations against her are pretty serious. Attempt to murder is what the officials are saying. How is the TMC responding to these?
Trinamool Congress is openly saying that it is, political vendetta. They are saying, because Shaini Ghosh is from opposition, is from Trinamool Congress, that is why such a case has been initiated against her. And remember, Shaini Ghosh, she is the youth president of Trinamool Congress, the position where Abhishek Banerjee was 6 months back. So they have really taken it in their ego too. So obviously Trinamool Congress will turn it out from Delhi to Tripura to Bengal, everywhere on this issue. They are saying it's political vendetta. On the other hand, the BJP clearly saying that she has been spreading enmity between people.
Okay.
She has, given certain lewd comments, which is not right. And also, there is a hit and run case. That's what the BJP is saying. That there has been a hit and run case against Shaini Ghosh. So all these things put together, really the situation in Tripura is tense.
Kamalika, thanks for getting us all those details. Let's listen into some reactions. You've got senior BJP leader and MP Dilip Ghosh saying that it is the TMC which is the perpetrator behind the violence playing out in Tripura.
বিরোধী আছেটাকে আর তৃণমূলের নিজেদের মধ্যে গুলি গোলা চলাটা নতুন কিছু নাকি এমএলএ চেয়ারম্যান এখন পার্টির নেতা সবাইকে গুলি দিয়ে ফয়সালা হচ্ছে সবই ভাগ বাঁটোয়ারার ব্যাপার সবই কাটমানির ব্যাপার কম বেশি হলেই গুলি দিয়ে ফয়সালা পুলিশও কিছু নাই প্রশাসনও কিছু নাই পার্টিরও কোনো কেউ কিছু মানে না এই যে হিংসার রাজত্ব শুরু হয়ে গেছে এই ক্রিমিনালরা সব টিএমসি পার্টির মধ্যে ঢুকছে তারা মারামারি করছে আর পুরো সমাজের মধ্যে হিংসাটা ছড়িয়ে যাচ্ছে
The Supreme Court, I think, has already given a ruling about having all the political parties together. Why would the BJP, the Trinamool Congress, going from West Bengal and having their local cadres there? Why would they would just want to do a proper campaign rally that, like I was trying to do yesterday? Why would they get into a fight with the police when they know that the ruling party is that of BJP?
Let me tell you that TMC is known for leveling allegations and counter allegations. I wish they went beyond allegations and they actually worked for the people of West Bengal. And why should BJP, it's a BJP ruled state, why should BJP be indulging in violence? As simple as that.
Moving from Tripura to Rajasthan, where the Rajasthan cabinet has been reshuffled. 11 new ministers took oath at the governor's residence. This happened in the evening, while 4 MLAs took oath as ministers of state, making it a cabinet of 15 ministers. Now, 5 of the ministers who were inducted are from Sachin Pilot's camp, while 4 ministers from the scheduled castes have also been accommodated, placating Pilot for the time being.
पायलट साहब, जो इश्यूज आपने उठाए, क्या इस फेरबदल के बाद में वो एड्रेस हो गए?
देखिए, लगातार फीडबैक का प्रोसेस चालू रहता है और पार्टी लीडरशिप को हम लोगों ने अपनी बात रखी थी। मुझे खुशी है कि उसका संज्ञान लेके जिस दिशा में हम लोग चल रहे हैं वो अच्छा एक संकेत है। जो जगह खाली थी मंत्रिपरिषद में उनको भरा गया है, लोगों को प्रमोट किया गया है। दलित, आदिवासी, महिला, अल्पसंख्यक, नौजवान, किसान, इन सब लोगों को ज़्यादा महत्व मिला है। वो एक शुभ संकेत है पार्टी के लिए, क्योंकि जनता ही उम्मीद करती है हम लोगों से। अब चुनाव 22 महीने के बाद है, 2 साल से कम का समय रह गया। हमें सरकार को, संगठन को और मुस्तैद होना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि परिपाटी राजस्थान में है कि 5 साल एक पार्टी, 5 साल दूसरी पार्टी, 30 साल से हो रहा है। उस परिपाटी को तोड़ने के लिए हम लोगों को मेहनत करनी है और उस दिशा में हम सब मिलकर काम करेंगे तो हम कामयाब हो सकते हैं।
आपकी भूमिका क्या होगी अब?
मैं तो हमेशा से कहता आया हूँ, जो भी मेरी पार्टी ने मुझे आज तक काम दिया मैंने पूरी ताकत से, पूरी ईमानदारी से किया है और भविष्य में भी जो मेरी भूमिका तय करेगी पार्टी, मैं उसके लिए तैयार हूँ काम करने के लिए। लेकिन मैं चाहता हूँ, मेरी प्राथमिकता राजस्थान है, यहाँ पर हम कैसे चुनाव दोबारा जीतें, क्योंकि इसके लिए सबको मिलकर काम करना पड़ेगा। प्रदेश में रहकर काम करेंगे, बाकी जो भी जिम्मेदारी मुझे जहाँ भी पार्टी देगी मैं काम करूँगा।
धैर्य रखना ही पड़ता है, सबके फैसले एक साथ हो नहीं सकते। ये जो मंत्रिमंडल बना होगा, ये अजय माकन जी जानते हैं, प्रियंका जी जानती है, वेणु कुमार जी जानते हैं। एसटी भी आए, एसटी का भी भागीदारी हो, माइनॉरिटी की भागीदारी भी हो, किसानों की भागीदारी भी हो, सब तरह से निचोड़ कर करके जो फैसला हुआ है वो हम लोगों को उसका स्वागत करना चाहिए। सब मिलकर हम लोग चलेंगे। बाकी जो बच गए हैं उनको हम कहीं एडजस्ट भी करवाएंगे। सब मिलके ऐसा माहौल बनाएंगे कि पब्लिक को मालूम पड़ जाए कि इस बार कांग्रेस जो है संकल्प किए हुए हैं बार बार जो बदलाव आता है सरकारों में, इस बार आप पर रिपीट करके दिखाई कांग्रेस की हमारी भावना है।
हमारे समय समय के ऊपर 2023 के चुनाव के लिए जब हम तैयारी और तेजी से करने के लिए जाएंगे, उस वक्त भी बहुत सारे लोगों को जो मंत्री पद में परिषद में भी हैं, हम कोशिश करेंगे कि कुछ लोग जो संगठन के काम के लिए में जाना चाहें वो संगठन में जाएं और कुछ नए लोगों को हम लोग मंत्री पद के अंदर आगे आने के लिए मौका दें, ताकि संगठन और मंत्री के अंदर एक बैलेंस दोनों के दोनों में रहे और 2023 के चुनाव में हमें जीतने का और अच्छी तरीके से जीतने का एक मौका मिले।
Let's also now talk about some other stories that we're tracking. The INS Visakhapatnam was commissioned into the Indian Navy in the presence of the Defence Minister at Mumbai's Naval Dockyard. It is one of 4 stealth-guided missile destroyer ships. The commissioning of INS Visakhapatnam reaffirms India's presence among an elite group of nations who have the capability to design and build advanced warships. November is a landmark month for the Navy, as we will also see the commissioning of the submarine INS Vela, which is one of the 6 Scorpion-class submarines being built in India in collaboration with France.
देवियों सज्जनों, पड़ोसियों के साथ मैत्री भाव, खुलापन, संवाद और सह अस्तित्व की भावना के साथ माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने सागर सिक्योरिटी एंड ग्रोथ फॉर ऑल इन द रीजन विजन की जो परिकल्पना की थी, उसके मूल में हमारे यही कर्तव्य भाव थे जिसका निर्वहन आप लोग भली भांति कर रहे हैं। उल्लेखनीय है कि हमारी नेवी आत्मनिर्भरता के क्षेत्र में इंडिजिनाइज्ड शिप्स और सबमरीन्स की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आदि में पहले से बहुत आगे रही है। मेक इन इंडिया जैसे इनिशिएटिव्स के साथ जुड़ते हुए नेवी ने वर्ष 2014 में 75% AON तथा 66% कास्ट बेसिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स इंडियन वेंडर्स को दिए हैं तथा लगभग 90% नेवल एम्यूनिशन का इंडिजिनाइजेशन हुआ है। इंडिजिनाइजेशन का इससे बड़ा और दूसरा नमूना क्या हो सकता है? यह नेवी की आत्मनिर्भर भारत के प्रति कमिटमेंट का यह प्रमाण है।
I am at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai, where Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh presided over the commissioning of INS Visakhapatnam. She stands right behind me at the Naval Dockyard on a day which has been hailed by the Raksha Mantri as a red letter day for the Indian Navy. INS Visakhapatnam is the first ship of the P-15B class of guided missile stealth destroyers, which has been designed by the Indian Navy's Directorate of Naval Design and has been built in Mumbai itself by the Mazagon Dock shipbuilders. She is the first of the Project 15B class ships which has been delivered to the Indian Navy. So this entire state-of-art warfare machinery that has been fitted on INS Visakhapatnam makes her a lethal warship, just another important addition to the Navy's entire arsenal. Within the next 2 to 3 days, Vela, a submarine, will also be commissioned within the Indian Navy's fleet.
Let's also now get you a wrap of some other stories that we're tracking. India has recorded 10,438 fresh COVID cases in the last 24 hours. We've also seen about a 7% dip than the cases that we saw yesterday. The country has also reported 313 deaths in the last 24 hours. The active caseload stands at 1,22,714, the lowest again in 531 days. Delhi's overall air quality continues to remain in the very poor category for the 8th consecutive day. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the AQI in areas like Anand Vihar and Rohini, they still remain in the severe category. Due to all of this, all schools in Delhi will remain shut. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be visiting Jammu and Kashmir on the 22nd and 23rd November. Now, the Finance Minister will be announcing a major package for business sector in the valley. The 52nd edition of the International Film Festival of India is underway, and Union Minister Anurag Thakur inaugurated India at 75, facilitated 75 young creative minds of India. Now, IFFI provided a platform for 75 young actors, singers and filmmakers to attend the event and connect with established members of the industry.
कि जिस तरह से देश के कोने कोने से 75 यंग क्रिएटिव माइंड्स ऑफ टुमारो को पिक किया गया है, ये अपने आप में एक अवसर है उनके सामने मास्टर क्लासेस अटेंड करके सीखने का, समझने का और वापस जाकर अपने कला के क्षेत्र में अपना बड़ा योगदान देने का।
After Maharashtra's government slashed excise duty on imported liquor by 50%, the BJP has now hit out at the Maharashtra government, saying that why can't they do the same as far as the VAT on petrol and diesel is concerned. Now, temples are following the Prime Minister's call for a digital India. The Himachal Pradesh government has launched a QR code-based system to facilitate online donations in 3 temples in Kangra. In news coming in from Tamil Nadu, a sub-inspector of the Tamil Nadu police, he was hacked to death by a group of thieves in the city of Tiruchirappalli. He was on night duty when this horrific incident took place. Today is World Fisheries Day, and fishermen in Tamil Nadu's Rameswaram were given sweets by the Tamil Nadu Fisheries Council to commemorate this occasion. The day is meant to spread awareness on sustainable stocks and fisheries, the need for healthy oceans and a balanced ecosystem. Fresh videos of missing tennis star Peng Shuai have been posted by the Chinese state media amid growing global pressure for Beijing to provide verifiable evidence of her whereabouts and safety, though the authenticity of this video has not been verified yet. Let's talk about the COVID situation across the globe. Cases in Europe are on the rise once again, and this is forcing several countries to impose fresh restrictions and even lockdowns. Austria and Germany have made vaccines a mandate and are now considering boosters if required. Let's take a look at the CNN report. I'm leaving you with this report. Thanks for watching.
Europe, once again, the epicenter of the pandemic, with country after country announcing record rises in COVID-19 cases. Country after country as well announcing fresh restrictions, this time much more targeted. First of all, against the unvaccinated, but also aiming to provide boosters more quickly for those parts of the populations that have already been vaccinated as immunization levels begin to wane this far after their first or second doses. Germany, the latest example, the German parliament announcing a series of fresh measures that will mean that people either have to be vaccinated, have a negative test, or have recently recovered from COVID in order to take public transport, in order to get into their workplaces. With Angela Merkel meeting on Thursday evening with the regional leaders to decide on the fact that where incidence rates are particularly high, the unvaccinated will be banned from sports and cultural events altogether. Very similar to what we've been hearing from the Greek Prime Minister this Thursday evening as well, announcing that the unvaccinated will henceforth be banned from cultural and sports activities, explaining that this is very much an epidemic now of the unvaccinated. The Greek Prime Minister pointing out that if Greece had had the vaccination levels of a country like Portugal, the intubation levels in Greece would be 5 times less than they are. Countries looking to bring those COVID-19 figures down, even as the continent heads in to the Christmas season.